In the year of 2024, there's definitely not a lack of FNAF merch that roams the shelves of any store. Whether it be Funko, Sanshi, or even things like U2s or Hex, we're at the point where pretty much any character you can think of can be found in merchandise now. That is, if you don't count all these ones. Garbage! So for someone like me who's been collecting it ever since the first wave of Funko merch, I'm at the point where buying FNAF merch is more of an event rather than anything, since it seems like the big heavy hitters like Funko are pretty content with just releasing mid, and when they're not releasing mid, they're releasing
what the hell is even that?
So I thought let's go through some of the more interesting items. Merch that not many people know about and is very, very, very rarely mentioned online. That stuff being the world of unofficial FNAF merch. Now you may be wondering, doesn't that just mean bootlegs? You'd be correct, however, I'm referring to a much narrower definition, being merch made by people such as online personalities and content creators. Well, yes, this kind of merch is unofficial and is technically bootleg if you look at it on paper, I guess. I don't really think the term applies here, since a lot of this stuff is much more interesting than just like some weird Mexican lead-infested puppet figure with a chainsaw for a hand. This stuff was made out of passion for the franchise as well as to make money, and was made by people whose entire careers were built off of FNAF. So today, let's take a look at the weirdest and most specific type of FNAF merch. So firstly, I got an easy one for us to start out with. Who else but the living tombstone? Firstly though, let's start out with one of their t-shirts. There's of course been a billion unofficial shirts that just have like a PNG of Springtrap on them or something. But of course, we'll be diving deeper than that. Like for example, this one, which was one of the main things that made me want to make this video, which was released back with the Living Tombstones merch drop in 2020, along with other things which sported their iconic orange skull logo. However, as you can guess, this one's supposed to be referencing their iconic "It's Been So Long," as of course the meme which arose from that was really hot around that time, the man behind the slaughter. It's very weird art of what I assume is William, or at least some form of him. And he has these weird giant squid limbs for some reason. I don't really know how you go from the Atari style that's used in the video to whatever this Jack Skellington MF wants to be. But other than that, he's of course got his iconic catchphrase, "slaughter" with a knife through it. And there's not really much else to say about it. I totally get Sam and Yav wanting to capitalize on the huge meme potential, but I don't know, I think it would have been way funnier if they had this on the shirt rather than this weird squid thing from that one video from like the deep ocean. You know, this one. However, now let's move on to another piece of Living Tombstone merch, being this piece of acrylic artwork from their Streamly store. It's not as crazy as the previous example, but it's still really neat. It's of course got the iconic poster for This Comes From Inside, and it's got some fast forward and play buttons as if it were a Spotify page, with the rest just being completely see-through. And of course, this being from Streamly, that means it comes signed from Yav and Sam. It's such a neat idea for merch based off a song, since with stuff like Has-Been or something, they have a whole world and characters to use for merchandise in any way they want. But when you got this acid trip of a music video that only lasts around 3 minutes, you're really limited on how you can merchandise this. But I suppose capitalism finds a way. I honestly regret not buying this when it was available, but TBH, I'm happy I got the 01 vinyl record from their old merch store. Though if you're sad you missed out on it, they do have a print available that's just the artwork, which is signed by both of them and is still up as of the time of me writing this video, as well as this new print for their remix of Join Us for a Bite. If you want the shirt though, you're out of luck, that thing's long gone, that whole store got nuked. Moving on from the Living Tombstone though, I'd like to shift gears into another musical man, being Nate Wants to Battle, who on his Shark Robot store actually sells CDs and vinyls of his iconic FNAF songs. Like for example this. This is a simple CD which includes 16 songs by Nathan Sharp. And I'm not even joking, this was the main reason why I wanted to make this video. Because I want you to take a hard look at this cover. Do you notice anything out of the ordinary?
What the hell is even that?
Who is this? What is this? Who let this through? Okay, so let's just analyze whatever's going on here. Clearly, this is supposed to be Nightmare Bonnie of some sort, as you can see, because that's clearly his face. However, for some godforsaken reason, his body has been morphed into Nightmare Fredbear. And as well, they even gave him Nightmare Fredbear's purple hat and bow tie, and shrunk his ears to make him look like a bear. What was the goal here? If you wanted to use Nightmare Fredbear, just use Nightmare fucking Fredbear. But the thing is, he's right there. So you got Nightmare Fredbear, as well as this weird abomination mixture of a man. And then Funtime Freddy just kind of chilling on the left. I ask again, what was the goal? Why didn't they just put like Withered Freddy or Classic Freddy on it? That would have been perfect, you just have 3 Freddys. But alas, we had to get whatever in Jolly Green Giant's Earth we have here. You know what the best part about all this is, though? They actually reused this artwork on a vinyl record. However, they completely replaced this weird creature with Glitch Trap. So clearly they knew they fucked up. But anyway, let's just move on. There is one more cover to talk about, but it's much less offensive and it's honestly pretty cool. One for a general fan song compilation on the CD. This one's actually pretty neat and comes signed by Nate. And I actually do own this one myself, and that's pretty epic. It's got stuff like Bendy, Carl Fredricksen, Pyrocynical, the Hatbox Ghost from the Haunted Mansion, that thing from Radical Soda, and finally Glitch Trap. Oh yeah, and I also forgot this pin set, which has one that's clearly based off a sister location, so whatever. Also, this shirt has that also on it, yeah. After that, however, I'd like to shift gears into a semi-specific topic, being plushes of FNAF YouTubers. I wasn't originally going to bring these up, and I only changed my mind when I was writing this, so I'll keep this one pretty brief. Long story short, on sites like Ownage and Makeshift, there's been a mountain of FNAF channels that have their own merch, and some of them actually do use official characters and material from FNAF. And when I say that, I'm not counting the Dockos, as well as the 8-Bit Ryan, since those are actually licensed by Scott and have things like the Puppet Mask and Freddy Head, but there's some that sneak little references in here and there. Like for example, Animatronic's Makeshift plush, which has some sort of Springtrap character on the hoodie. I'm not sure if this one was ever licensed by Scott, I doubt it was, so it counts here. There's also one from Sly Pie with the Zarinator, which is based off of a custom plush from a FNAF plush channel, so I guess it counts because it's like a FNAF OC character, I guess, sure. And while it never got funded, so it never actually came out, there was a failed campaign for a plush of Smoke the Bear, which as you can see is very clearly based off of his avatar, which is just Freddy's head. And now let's move on to the final thing I'd like to talk about. Something that's a rather odd discovery I made around a year ago. So, if you don't know, FNAF High School, okay, stay with me. FNAF High School is an animated web series from the Spanish creator Ito-chan, where humanized versions of Freddy, Foxy, Bonnie, Chica, and a few others, who just have a grand old time with a pre-college education. Now, normally this would be the part where I, watch the show so I can actually tell you what it's about, but there's two main reasons why I'm not going to do that. For one, the entire thing is in Spanish, and while English dubs do exist, that brings up my second reason, I really don't want to. I mean, I guess the art style's nice and all, but I'm not watching 80 episodes of this. But the main thing you need to know is that in the far distant ancient past of 2018, the year all my fans were born, Ito-chan released not one, not two, but count 'em, 3 plushes based off of her iconic characters from the series. Freddy, Fred, his name's just Fred, and Meg. I mean, I know zero about the show whatsoever. I probably know negative, actually. But from what I can tell, the plushes don't look too bad. For the life of me, I could not find the actual manufacturer of these boys, since the over half-decade-old link I was able to track down, of course, doesn't work anymore. And from what I can tell, this is the only image I was able to find which contains Freddy. Never mind, I found one on a scam website, yippee. Here's the thing, though. The way I found out about these was because randomly I saw one of them on eBay. This was well over a year ago, and maybe even 2 years. I honestly don't remember, but I found Freddy on eBay for only like 25 bucks, and the image and the listing are long gone. But that's how I found out about this rabbit hole and all its weirdness. The series actually has a pretty sizable reach from what I can tell, whether it be for positive or negative reasons. But you know, these may be some of the holy grails for quite possibly the most autistic of FNAF collectors, given how just flat out non-existent they are. And with that, I think that brings us to the end of our adventure. That's pretty much all this merch I can think of. I'm sure there's much more I just have no idea about. But granted, I doubt anyone else does. But I mainly wanted to make this a bite-sized video since the last one was such a behemoth. Plus, most of these I had pent up in my brain for literal years, never being able to talk about them until just now. So the world can finally understand the true severity of the Living Tombstones t-shirts. Also, you guys can stop asking me for a FNAF video now, because I said in that one video like 2 years ago that my next one will be FNAF, and then it wasn't, and then you got mad at me. So you got your FNAF video, higgledy-piggledy. But anyway, if you haven't, please be sure to like and subscribe. It really makes me happy and it helps my channel, pretty please. And feel free to let me know of any other random merchandise I didn't talk about that's just sitting in the depths of the internet waiting to be unearthed. Or what other franchises do you want me to talk about now, since these parts ain't exclusive to Sonic anymore. But anyway, subscribe right now. I'm going to blind you with my Funko Build-A-Figure scrap baby.